Hey, let's go! Two mates on a tinny with the sun on our face, chasing that feeling all over the place. From the jetty to the ramp, we're the kings of the tide, with a beer in our hand and nowhere to hide. It's Terminal Banter, the fishing show. It's Terminal Banter, the fishing show.
And good evening. It's Terminal Banter, Episode 4, and tonight we have with us, Coley from the Fishing Shed. I'm RG, and with us is Dunk. So g'day, guys.
G'day.
Hey, boy. Hey, lads.
Everyone.
How you going?
G'day, Coley. Welcome to the show, mate.
Cheers, mate. Appreciate it. Let's get into it. Have a bit of a chat.
Yeah, mate. We'll get right into it. So let's start with a around the tracks of what's been happening fishing-wise out your way. So, Coley, I'll let you give us a inlands version.
Well, the simple thing is that the trout season has closed. So, as of the June long weekend, all the trout systems up here are closed and won't open until October. Now, I know that sort of like ruffles a few feathers for people fishing other species, but unfortunately, that's just the way it is. And so, yeah, but cod-wise, the cod have actually been going quite well, especially in the river. Like, we transitioned from sort of like, that summer, autumn into winter fishing. So cod fishing is definitely on the boil in the dams, but geez, the boys have been landing some crackers in the river recently too. So, and just on simple lures and stuff like that. So, which has been great. Prior to that though, trout was very, very hard up this part of the way. So it's we've got issues we're looking at long term with our organisation with the CAS and all that, but everything's looking good. Like naturally, rain is what we need, and more of it is always a good thing. But definitely the cod have been firing and all that. There's been just some crackers being landed.
I've seen a few on your Facebook page, the Fishing Shed Facebook page. A couple of young fellas have had some cracker cod.
Mate, absolutely. And river cod, we're talking, especially too, like the river's pumping at the moment because we had about, an inch and a half of rain and all that, and that kind of made the river push really hard. But wherever they go, there's some nice back eddies, and they were just using sort of like, some live mullet zeric and all that. And a young fella landed an absolute donkey, and then his father wasn't going to be outdone. He flicked an Aussie rattler joker pattern and scored himself a good river cod too. So it was really, really good to see, and it's been good to see too. Like the young kids have been going up to the what we call the cemetery dam, and they've been getting a few reddies and stuff like that are up in that closed little dam. And it had been a little tough fishing-wise. As soon as we get that frost and the cold weather comes in, it does get a little bit tougher to fish around this part of the world until we figure it out. So once we crack the code, then it's all good. So.
And I like the nice little shout out there to Aaron. We had him on last week with Aussie Rattlers. So,
brilliant stuff. Like the history there, bluntly, Aaron come into my shop looking for plastics for his own spinnerbaits, and 2 hours later he walked out a lure maker. So there you go.
Yeah, you're saying that. So how's things going around Newey there, Dunks?
Oh, things are going good, mate. Well, a bit slow for me at the moment. I did manage a flathead the other day off the banks. So using one of my vibes that I painted, which is pretty good. And I dropped a nice salmon yesterday because it jumped out of the water and spat my lure out of its mouth. I wasn't happy about that, but I should have went home after that because I never had any luck after that. So, but anyway, that's fishing.
Yeah, I find.
And, so the tailor of firing.
Oh, sorry, mate. I'll let you finish, and I'll say my little bit. Go for it.
Oh, sorry, mate.
It's all right.
Anyway, the tailor of firing, the salmon are firing. They're everywhere. Still a lot of flathead getting caught. So, fella next to me the other day, he actually caught 5. So there's plenty of flathead this time of the year. shouldn't be as many, but there is. What else is fine? Still the mulloway. That's about it that I can think of at the minute, because I only target certain species. So
Yeah, well, as you're saying with the salmon, throwing your hooks, a lot of people have gone from trebles to singles because they don't throw the hooks as easy with a single hook as what they do with trebles. So if you try a single instead of your trebles, you might actually have a little bit better luck.
yeah, no, I wasn't trolling, but I was just trying to divide.
If you trial it, not trial, but trial. So take your treble off and put a single on, and you'll probably find you'll have a better hookup rate and catch rate on a single than what you will with a treble.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that Coley's nodded his head, so he's got the greens there.
Yeah, no, it's the same, mate. A lot of guys up here change out their trebles for singles and all that. So does it improve the hookup rate? Yes, no. What it does is reduce the snag rate. So that's what it does do. So a lot of guys go for the singles and all that. So in the vibes. So definitely, we've got to step outside our comfort zone.
Yes, that's definitely a little step out.
Yeah, so over here in the metro waters at the moment, we've still got salmon being hit pretty much along with local beaches from Christie's down to Selix. We've got mainly using salted pilchards to get their fish up to 3 kilos at times. For the boaties out of North Haven, West Beach, King George are on the run using paternoster rigs, are the best rigs apparently. Not using level rigs whiting pats, which they should be. School mollies have been, where are they? In West Lakes and the Onkaparinga River, so up to about 60 to 80 centimetre mollies being hit around there. Running live baits or shallow running hard bodies. Bream are in the Onkaparinga at the moment, some up to about 40 centimetres. Now, with bream, people don't realise that they're actually a very slow growing fish. By the time they get to table size, they're already in excess of 7 years old. So,
yeah.
I'll leave the Yorks of the West. I believe also that we've got cod being caught in the fresh. Got to remember, it closes on August 1st. Now, we normally will drop this on the 2nd of August. We're actually dropping this early because of Coley with what he's got coming on. So those who are listening to this will know August 1st, cod season closes in SA. Caliper being, or yellow belly, steadily biting as well. Metal vibes seem to be on, and the Blade Delicious. So the Daiwa Infet Metal Vibes and the Blade Delicious for vertical jigging. What else we got? My Ponga, which is one of the reservoirs. The yellow belly and the cod are showing up for the yakkers. So yeah, there's some pretty good things getting around. Redfin in Happy Valley, up to 30 centimetres. So, and the Bundaleer continues to fish for the silvers as well. So the reservoirs are firing quite nicely here in South Australia. So that's a wrap up from around the place at the moment. Okay.
Yeah, we went. I went up there couple of weeks back. I think it's about 3 or 4 weeks now. Scored myself a nice 82 centimetre cod using Frankfurts. So it's unbelievable. But yep, using Frankfurt, 82 centimetres. That's what I got me 110 centimetre on, was a cocktail Frankfurt. So they work really well.
There you go. Who would have thought beaks and feet would be a good bait?
What we do for cheese over here is we'll get a chucks cloth, and we'll get a couple of those pieces of what we call plastic cheese and melt that into the chucks cloth, so it actually stays on the hook instead of for when they hit it. It actually stays on the hook.
Yeah,
different.
Yeah, it does the job. So I said just earlier that we're airing this a little bit early because of the fact that Coley has something very important that he runs in August. So tell us, Coley, what are you running in August that's extremely important?
Well, what it is we've got the Team Uador Variety Bash, which is part of Motoring New South Wales ACT's B2B Bash, which is basically just a massive charity fundraising event that is usually run over about 3 to 4 states, and they go out to remote and regional communities and give donations and support packages to the schools and organisations that you kind of shake your head as to why the government's not doing it. But they raise tens and hundreds of thousands of dollars for Variety to do these things. And unfortunately, this year we were meant to be going to Darwin. We were going to take our first 2-car team to Darwin, and that was going to be a big trip. So that was up through the guts of New South Wales, into Queensland, across to the Northern Territory, down to Alice Springs, and back up through the centre of the NT up to Darwin. But unfortunately, a couple of people decided to shoot missiles at one another overseas and put the price of fuel up, and because our bumbling government didn't quite know what to do with fuel, they just weren't too sure whether there was going to be fuel there. And the big unknown is the last thing you want to do is put about 200 cars on the road, and then you get halfway between here and nowhere, and there's no fuel. So they made the hard decision to call it off. And so this year they're doing what's referred to as the Backyard Bash. So it's an internal New South Wales bash that will actually start close to Sydney, head out west, head down southwest, down to the SA border, but not actually over. It's all going to remain in New South Wales, and then come up through the middle there, then back and finish in Bathurst. So that's a good one to do. And so, like, I opted out of it because of the because it was only and because it was only a smaller bash and all that, so I opted out of it. So that the Team Mackerel Falcon, which is the absolute premier car in the team, it is the best. Like, Belinda's got the Uador. It looks pretty, but it's a Holden, mate. It's like kissing your sister. So it doesn't really count. So we got and I was never going to do a bash in a Holden and all that. So I was lucky enough to come across an ex-basher down in Victoria who had an XF Falcon 4-speed manual, and mate, I think it's an absolute crate to drive. So I'll give it out to him though. Like, he's gone from using an XF Falcon in bashes in South Australia, he's using a Leyland P76. So there's a bit of classic. I asked him where he gets his spare parts from. He goes, anywhere where I could find them. So so unfortunately this year has been a shortened program for the B2B. And but next year is a 2-car team up to Darwin, so that's going to be a cracker, and we can't wait for that. And Belinda's been out all day today raising funds. I think they pushed well over $1,000 with their barbecue. Today they did at Bunnings, and we've done some auctions that raised $200 and $300 and all that along the way, plus ongoing support we've received from people like yourself, Pete, and all that. So which has been absolutely outstanding. And our sponsors from those teams like Kerry D Fishing, Lovell Rigs, Savala CAS, and the mechanics and all that do work on our car up here for pretty much for cost price, and the 4-wheel drive zone, another big player with both our teams, and he just charges labour, so we get everything pretty well looked after there, and it's just been an amazing journey and all that. So and it really affected Belinda a lot, you go to these schools where basically they were given, a cheque for $6 or $7 grand just so the kids had chairs and tables to sit down to eat their lunch. Now, these are state government schools, so whilst ever city politicians are pissing it up against the wall, where, the people, good people are doing good things for kids who deserve it. So some of the schools they went to, they gave them whiteboards, like magic whiteboards, things that city schools have got anyway. And a couple of the schools actually got covering for their playground, So simple things that we take for granted and all that. But the best part about it is that last year when Belinda did her big bash, I said, down to SA, was the kids all coming to get their sample bags of fishing lures and the like, and they were just over the moon. So, it was really, really good for Pete, like Pete Simmons as well. Like, very, very quiet achiever, but he had a heap of spare parts for a VN Commodore because he drives Speedway at Cullumbullen, so with old VNs, and he messaged us out of the blue, and I said we're looking for a fuel cap and some tail lights. Anyway, he turned up to the old shop downstairs with a box with a fuel cap and tail lights, and it was his old Speedway car, and and then I said, would you be interested in coming on the bat? And he's a real quiet bloke. He doesn't say much. But I tell you one thing, mate, getting behind the wheel of the car on the variety bat, mate, fast and furious. That is fast and furious, mate.
I was lucky enough to meet Belinda and the crew from the Ewador at the function at Adelaide last year. And got to have a bit of a fish with them as well at Barmer on the way up to... where'd they stay? I'm trying to think of up in the Riverland anyway. So Loxton, I think it was, or Berry or somewhere like that. And Pete and the guys, Belinda, Donna, absolute crack ups. I had a really good time with them. Even Danny, she's like, when we go up to New South Wales, we've got to stop in and see the crew.
Oh, mate, just an absolute... And these are people that have, 6 months prior didn't even know each other. Like Pete Simmons come in and bought some stuff off us, the old shop there, just some hooks and sinkers and stuff like that. And then out of the blue, we turn up with this, hot metallic pink VN station wagon. And I popped the fuel cap on it. There was no fuel cap. So I went, something different. Anyway, so I just put a call out to all the fishers. I said, has anyone got a petrol cap for a VN Commodore? And I said, if you're out there, if you got some tail lights, that'd be even better. Yeah, so Pete just out of the blue just comes in with his box. So, and then we had to get some dashboard replacements done with the buttons on the dash with the VNs because they give away and you can't really get them anymore. Anyway, he turns up with a whole dash console. So for this VN Commodore, we're stripping parts off that and giving it to our mechanics and getting it all done. So it's been, like I said, a real labour of love for that car. And like the old Falcon, all she needed was a power steering seal, and that was it. Because they're Fords, they're far superior and all that. So there you go. Love me, Blue.
Sorry, Coley, you make me laugh when you say that. Christ, mate, you can't go past Toyota.
Oh, mate, stop it.
Sorry, guys.
I'll tell you one thing, we had a choice of variety bash cars. We looked hard, and there's some classics out there. There was actually a hearse. I saw a hearse and went, oh, that'd be cool. And then there was a big stretch limo, and I went, how good would that have been?
No, that would have been good. So Wayne, how did you and your wife get involved?
Well, we had a chat to a few people in our circle, and there was what's her name, Melissa Spikes. Melissa Pengallialo, I think her name is. Her real name is. There you go. Let that little kitty cat out of the bag, and had a chat to her, and we looked at what she was doing, and we said, oh, we'll give this a crack. So and away we went, and it went from there. So Belinda's job was to find a batch car, and we found one down in New South Wales at Wilberforce, and it was virtually batch ready, but it just needed a few little tweaks done to it, and it was metallic pink, but it used to be the pink princess car, so and that just wasn't never going to float. So good people in Bathurst here helped out, and we ended up getting it stripped back to its original colour, which was white. And then we added the wrap after that, and all the sponsors got involved, and we got blue water. We got blue water mackerel on one side, Murray cod on the other side of it, with the pink and grey. So we kept the pink grill from the Princess car, so it's still got that lingy of where it come from. And we added a big outdoor EcoX speaker system to it. Mate, think cruisers, mate. Absolutely pumps. Best, mate, it's the best disco car in the world.
Nice. Yeah, Mel's been doing it for quite a while. I was going to go down and see her off when last year, but I couldn't get down there. So, unfortunately,
oh no, it's mate, it's like the people that are involved in it that we've met and I've met. through communications and stuff like that, because I've got my own car for, which was going to be for this year for Darwin, but it'll be next year. Just good people with their heart in the right place, and that's what we like about the whole concept of it. Like, we got a mate of mine, or mate of ours actually, Lindsay Curry. Like, I met him years ago out at Ballina on the Barwon River, and turns out he's right into the bash cars and all that. So he's the Woodside hippies. So they, the Woodstock hippies and all that. They get around in a big Falcon and all that. So, and it's a really good party atmosphere too for everyone. But some people take it just a little bit serious. So, and they give it to the cars and they get it from point A to point B. That's for sure. So, but a lot of fun along the way too. And what I saw was Belinda was a different person when she come back from doing the variety bash. So in an extremely positive way. Like, I think she was a little bit daunted in the beginning because, you turn up to the scrutineering and the like and the media, and there was just hundreds of cars and people and all that. And they're kind of just sitting there, trying to get their little VN up and going, where I'm just going to be going through the grill sideways and all that when I start, and I'm just going to drop the clutch and let it go. So, and give it a hoot. But the big thing is it's for the kids. And that's what it's all about, raising lots of money. I think Belinda got a national award last year for it, raising over $17,000 in her first variety bash. So so that was a good achievement by her. And honestly, 80% of the work was hers. So 80% of the work, probably even 90% of the work was all hers, and she's still passionate now. And it kind of drives us to get up in the morning, to get to work, to push this and push that. And it's just a hard slog, but the good people out in the community is what it's all about too. And they've been very, very supportive of it, as we saw today.
Well, as you're saying there, people in the community coming out. So do you want to give us a quick rundown on who the sponsors are for both Team Mackerel and also the Ewador? Give them a bit of a shout out and where they were from and what's...
Yeah, mate, we got lots. Okay, so we'll take Team Mackerel and all that. So, so on the tailgate, we've got Scotty Mitchell Plumbing and all that. So Mitchell Plumbing in Bathurst, which is a family-run organisation, they've got the tailgate. So we got Aussie Rattlers up one side of the car as well. Yourself with the Lovell's First Aid, we've got them as well. The CAS group, AMS Mechanical, the four-wheel drive zone is on that as well. Jeff Home and Property Maintenance is on that one as well. If I've forgotten anyone on the Ewador, on the Team Mad Mackerel, kick me later. So because we've got a few little ones in there as well. And then we look at the Ewador, and we've got Kerry D is our main sponsor from Karumba. They're on the bonnet of the car. Again, Jeff Home and Property Maintenance at CAS. But then we've got like Warfighter Coffee, as well as Norton's Haulage. Down the bottom, we've got U-Butte Lures. We got Lever to Beaver Home and Property Maintenance is another one. On the back, Bathurst Auto Glass, which is a big one. Bathurst Sheds, so Essential Sheds is on the other side of the door, and lots of little sponsors in the meantime as well. Stanton's Roofing and Tiling is another one, and they're all little community groups and all that. So, and especially the Safala guys from CAS, like, they've been really supportive, and to support both cars, like yourself, Pete, with the Lovell Rigs and the First Aid wing of your organisation. And so that's, awesome to have that stuff on board, and we really appreciate the first aid kits too. So it'll, the mackerel's easy. We've got a Perspex thing behind the bucket, so I can just chuck one up there, so it'll be awesome. So you'll be able to see that as I'm driving away, because I'll have the camera set up on the dashboard of the old Falcon. And mate, trust me, mate, I'll be going sideways around those corners in it. So, but they're kind of our main sponsors. Dynasty's Rockabilly's another one. So yeah, forgot about Dynasty's Rockabilly. I'm just trying to think as I go around the car. I can see it. I can see the decals on it. Yeah. So yeah, Dynasty's Rockabilly. They're a good little 50s style cafe here in Bathurst, mate. You walk in there, it's just all Elvis and Coca-Cola memorabilia. It's bloody awesome, and real hamburgers and fries, mate. It's great.
Yeah, nice. I might have to try that the next time I'm up there.
Oh, mate, do yourself a favour, go into Dynasty's Rockabilly. I can recommend the Apple Crumble Thick Shake. There you go.
Apple Crumble Thick Shake?
Yep.
Righty, mate.
Do you try it?
It sounds like somebody's got a bit of experience on that one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh mate, I smash one or two of them when I go in there, mate. Don't you worry. So, and
I
they
don't
bring him out
sponsor
the
them.
metal. They bring him out the metal cups too. You know, in those metal cups that have been frozen. They're bloody awesome. So
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I don't sponsor the variety bash, but I do try to put something in every year. You know,
and you have, mate. You've actually been a big person when it comes to that.
I believe the event's a good thing, and I'll definitely put some into it again this year. So,
Cheers, mate.
I mean, it's not much, but it all helps.
Bloody oath.
So,
Every dollar helps. Every dollar, and it's for the kids, mate. You know, that's I mean, that was the gut wrenching part that Belinda found was these were state government schools, and a private charity was giving money to a state government school.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's sad.
It is sad, but you know, but the kids, mate, they love it, mate. You know, some of those cars, mate, the Fred Flintstone car, the Star Wars cars, Ghostbusters, you know, our Uador, you know, pretty much they all dress like bogans and all that, so with flannelette shirts and mullets and stuff like that. You know, every time I jump in the car, it's sort of like I look in the rear vision mirror, here's this blonde mullet staring at me, and so it just hangs off the back grill. But yeah, so it's just a great event for the communities too.
Yeah, all that.
We're definitely going to have to do a follow-up on the bash when Belinda gets back from
For sure.
the trip.
For sure.
See how things went. It's great that she's got a thing on tonight for what she's done today, but if somebody wants to get there and donate, and this is the important thing, someone wants to donate anything, be it a handful of lures for the kids, be it a few dollars in the tin, or if you got raffles like you did last time, how do they get hold of you? What's the best way to do this?
Literally the Uador page or Team Fishing Shed Uador and Mad Mackerel page has got the link on it as well. Plus the actual Fishing Shed Bathurst page will have the link up on it too, where you can actually make a direct deposit to Team Uador for this year's bash. And so that's definitely one to do it. Or if you just want to drop us a DM and you know, just give us some ideas or give us a suggestion of what you'd like to do, and we can work from there. So that's probably the easiest way, and all that is direct contact through us. You know, because Belinda's page and the Variety Bash page and the Cow and Bathurst page kind of crisscross anyway. So a lot of the posts are very similar to it. But yeah, the links are up there on those pages to make a direct donation to the actual to the Uador itself.
Awesome. So what I'm going to do is, if it's okay with you, Coley, is I'm going to steal a picture of the Uador off your Facebook, and I'll do up a little thing on how to donate to the cause for you.
Mate, that'd be awesome, mate. Absolutely, and every cent helps.
And of course, please post on Tight Lines and East Coast Fishing, because I have 1,800 people on that. East Coast, and nearly 2,000 on Tight Lines, as you know.
Yep.
But hey, if we can get the word out there, let's get it out there.
Mate, like I said, if every one of those people who follow those pages gave us $1, mate, it would change. It would change a lot of things. Like basically, $3,000 gets kids access to brand new laptop computers. You know, so in some of the schools there don't have laptop computers for kids. You know, so some of the money went towards doing those type of things. You know, simple basic things that we took for granted as kids and all that. So these kids have got to raise money for, and that's the part that really hit home to me. And when they said they were going to Darwin through Alice Springs and stuff like that, I went, yeah, I'm going to be part of this. It'll be great, you know, and just see it all, because, you know, it's giving back to, you know, and you know, you see all the cars that do it. Like, you know, there's not many young people on the Variety Bash and all that. So a lot of people kind of view it as a bit of a retirees thing and all that. But mate, all the people on the bash are just good-hearted people. Well, you know, and
when I got there and met up with everybody in Adelaide here, there was one young group who were driving a 1988 ex-military Parenti, and because I own one,
yep,
we had to sit there and talk for a good 20 minutes, half hour in the parking lot before we went in, and also after. So, I'll get rid of that. So, it'd be something, if I had the money behind me and I could do it, I wouldn't think twice but to put the old girl into the bash.
Yeah. Oh, mate, it's like, it's funny, like Blair and I drive past cars, we pull up at the traffic lights, there's a P-plate beside us in a VN, we're like, I wonder if we could get that car off him. Looking for spare parts all the time. But it's surprising, like your car's got to be 25 years old. And, so it's funny when you drive around now, you don't see, like, apart from Rangers, you don't see the Ford badge or the Holden badges anymore like you used to. But when you see the variety badge and you see some of these absolutely red hot, VK Commodores and VP Commodores and stuff like that, and some of the old Falcons, like there's still XYs and XWs getting around and XBs and XCs and all that. So and it's bloody awesome to see, and and it's just good to see. And the smell, like nothing, it makes me wonder, like when I drive to Uador, how people survived back in 1990. So because you take the corner in our car, you got to lean. Kids these days are spoiled, absolutely spoiled. But they're just good cars, and they run on real petrol too.
Yeah. So let's move on to something else that's I know you're very, very passionate about. Happens to be the blue nose cod.
Yeah. Well, that's it. That's probably been a turning point in my fishing journey and all that, is being involved with the CAS groups and. The Safala CAS group out our way, those guys are just, they're experts in the trade of fishing. Like these guys have fished all their lives. They have lure fish, they have bait fish, they've fished in salt, fished in fresh water, they fly fish, they do everything. And then they introduced me to some of the people from the Endangered Species Unit of DPIRD. And that's kind of where the passion come from is the trout cod. Like people say, it's a trout cod, it's a trout cod. Why change it? Well, the trout cod, the name of it come around solely through misidentification. So that's realistically how the name trout cod come around. New South Wales is pushing the attitude of the blue nose cod, because when you actually pick up one of the blue nose cods out and the sunlight reflects off it, they actually do have a blue-grey tinge to the nose, where a Murray cod has more of a deep green and olive type colour to it. So sat there listening to these people, and you read the history behind it. Was when Surveyor Evans come over the mountains back in the 1820s. He stayed at a place near, which is now O'Connell, on the Fish River, and they named the Fish River because it was a river that was plentiful and full of fish. Who would have thought? And they talk about the night they had this feed of 6 5-pound trout. Now, back in 1820, there were no trout in Australia, and it was a misidentification of the actual trout cod. So, and that's where the name's stuck ever since. On the Turon River, they were called the rock cod because of the rock exterior of the Turon and all that. So, and they were scientifically then named in 1824 by René Lasson. Not far from the current Denison Bridge, where they actually landed one there and scientifically named it. The name Macquarie is actually in their scientific name. So we just said, we've got to be a part of it. So I spoke to the older heads of the CAS at Safala, and back in 2009, they did about an 8-year program of introducing fingerlings to the Macquarie River, because it is, it's an ancestral home. And then we had the millennial drought, and the Macquarie River sort of like dried up and become a chain of ponds, and a lot of things just went against it. And nowadays, the only remnants of those stocking days are probably around the Forge area, because trout cod enjoy fast-flowing cold water. And so we've gone through the politics of it all. We've gone through the trout reintroduction policy. We've got, the trout cod reintroduction plan, and speaking with people at DPIRD. And the Macquarie River is a priority river for it, but they have to be able to produce approximately 250,000 fingerlings a year. So last year they got very close to it, with just on 200,000. And so we believe our time has come. So we've penned a letter to the Minister of Agriculture in New South Wales to say, we need to look at reintroducing these species. Now, a lot of people have forgotten about these species like Macquarie perch and in the Macquarie catchment, and trout cod or blue nose cod in there as well. Trout cod is an apex predator and will pull a Murray cod backwards of the same weight and size. And they're a far more aggressive fish too. So And it's another tool that we can use to get rid of invasive species and all that, so as they will smash a carp a day. And it'd just be great to have them back in the system where they belong. But the journey is long for that because of politics, and the hatchery at Narrandera has to produce 1 million cod a year for its requirements, and cod are fairly well established in most waterways in New South Wales, and so they need room. So the only place that breeds the endangered species, be it the Macca perch and the blue-nosed cod, is Narrandera hatchery, which is a government hatchery, and so they need sort of help to get that going. And where people come into the shop, we luckily enough we're the only permit holders outside of DPIRD that actually has a blue nose and Macquarie perch on display, so people can actually come into the shop and actually see them. And one of our blue nose is called Rene, from Rene Lasson, and he's a shifty character. So he very, very social fish. He will actually come out and literally look at people. Where the other one, which is in a separate tank that doesn't have much human interaction, is a traditional blue-nosed cod. It comes out, hits its food, and straight back to its log. So it's been good that way. And what I've noticed is Murray cod and blue-nosed cod have different bite windows. Like the Murray cod will be active certain times of the day when the blue-nose are in their logs, and when the Murray's in their log, then the blue-nose are out. It's very interesting to see, and it's a bit of a privilege. Like, I picked up these cod as translucent guppies virtually in December of 2025 from Luke Pearce and the team from DPI, and now they're all roughly around the 2.5 to Renee's nearly 3 inches long, and the other one yet named is 2.5 inches long, and they're going really, really well. Like, we have a lot of restrictions on what we can and can't do with them. Like, we can only feed them like bloodworms or brine shrimp. We can't put fin fish in there or anything like that, like gambusies or anything like that, which are an introduced species anyway. And if there's anything goes wrong with them, I've got to notify DPI. You've got to put them into refrigeration so they can come and take them away to find out why they died. And we don't put anything but tank water or river water. And after the seminar I did on water, I wouldn't be putting river water in there, but we just use tank water for them. No chemicals, no anything like that. So it's been an amazing journey. That side, and the Macca perch, again, we got them as two little fingerlings, and now they've got very defined Macca perch looks about them, and it's fun to watch them. Like, they're like silver perch; they just go up and down the tank. They'll sit in the current, where a blue nose is very ambush predator. So they'll actually sit in their log, sit in their hide and all that. And then when food goes past, out, bang, then straight back inside. So it's good to see. And their markings on them now are very defined for that blue nose species and all that. And, like, a lot of people were still confusing them as a hybrid species, as a cross between this, that and the other. They're actually a standalone cod species and have been for millions of years. And same with the actual Murray cod. The Murray cod's a standalone species from 40-odd million years ago. And I'll hand it to New South Wales. They do a lot of research into the genetics of these fish, and that's kind of a good thing they do. And but yeah, it'd be good to get them back in the waterways up here and get them back to their ancestral homes, and get the system sorted out. And wouldn't it be good if one day our kids can sit there and talk about the day they landed a big 75 centimetre blue nose?
What's the structure like up there for the blue nose? Or are you guys looking at doing fish hotels, which is something that a gentleman here in South Australia has done by the name of Kim Manning, has actually put in quite a few fish hotels. Actually, he's installed the largest inland man-made reef in the country, just outside of Barmera there. In the Murray for cod. So that's a lot of it. There's a lot of things that have to be done. So I just did a water seminar with Professor Ben Diggles and his team, and I tell you, there's a video that I'll put up on our page on YouTube, which is a seminar, and I do suggest every person actually have a listen to that, and they can make their own decision after seeing scientific proof, not media hype, but scientific proof of what's in our waters. And the biggest demise, like people talk about the demise of native fish was because of carp and because of redfin and because of trout and the like. And that's
that's probably 3 of 100 reasons why we've had a decline in native fish stocks in Australia. And I don't think it's got anything to do with those species. It simply comes down to 2 things: water quality and habitat degradation. You know, in the 80s and 90s, the big thing was get willows out. So they cut all the willow trees out. And then all the banks caved in. You know, like instead of actually staging it, like let's take a third out, re-establish natives, and then take another third out and re-establish natives, they just cut them all out. And then they want to know why there's no fish. Well, because there's no refuge, there's no structure, there's no, and even we can't put structure in the Macquarie River above the low level bridge because council won't approve it, because if anything goes wrong during a flood, that structure will actually hit the low level bridge. Who would have thought replacing a low level bridge with a low level bridge was a good idea?
I don't work in government, so I can't agree or disagree with that.
Mate, I don't think anyone works in government at the moment, so I really don't. I think some of the people in government couldn't pull the skin off a custard. So, but it's a tough gig for fishers. Is that, you know, we're forever facing bans on this and bans on that and bans on this. And certainly hope the illegal fishers are listening to the bans too. But yeah, it's a tough gig. Is it like we're actually responsible for it? Like when you look at history, like in 1860, they brought in the Crown's Land Act, which actually encouraged people to go out and clear vegetation. And that's where it all began. You know, so the silting of rivers and the like, and the sedimentation of rivers, it's all been done by us. And, you know, so like when people look at articles back in the 1900s and all that, now we're not trying to look to get it back to that because we know we physically and can't, because society is progressing, but we need to be able to do something to get some of these species back where they belong.
Yeah, that's right. So in saying that, last year I had an auction for one of your lures, the blue-nosed cod lure.
Yep, from OG, yeah, great work.
As I said, I've still got that here ready and waiting for you to re-auction.
Yep.
So we can donate that back into the blue-nosed cod fund.
That'd be awesome, mate.
So,
absolutely awesome.
When you're ready, well, look, this is the last one of them lures, isn't it? So,
yeah, actually, Orgy don't make them anymore. Like, we were lucky enough to be given a handful of them, and I've got one in a private collection, and you've got the other one. So they're the last of the bring back the blue nose Orgy lures, and people don't realise it. Is it you won't find these lures anywhere else ever again. Like I spoke with Wayne Leonard at Orgy about it, and he says, mate, that was a one-off thing we did years ago. He said, we don't do that anymore. So it makes it even better that, you know, that people realise that these lures are quite short of supply. And like I said, I've got one in a private collection. You've got one, and that's it. I think I've got one Macca perch one left, and because we want to start doing some fundraising for Maccas, but. We do a lot of fundraising and all that, but mate, it'd be great to have a bit of coin go to the CAS to help with native fish stocking and rehabilitation of the rivers.
Well, that's it, you know, and I think the best person to auction that lure would be you.
Yep.
Because I've tried it. I had to buy it myself to make anything off it. So,
mate, I'll grab the photos off it, mate. We'll whack it up in the next week or so, and and get that conversation going. And that's the good part about Fishers is and social media. We got that. We can start that conversation. So.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So that's a rare lure. And if we can't get anything decent for it, I mean, there's something wrong. People don't know what they're buying or missing out on, because it's a rare piece of history that's not going to be made again.
Well, that is genuinely correct. Like that was the thing with that as an orgy lure. That is an Australian-made orgy lure, not an Indonesian one. So that's an Australian-made orgy lure. And bring back the blue nose. It was actually on the back of it. Actually has a DPI stamp produced by the Endangered Species Unit of DPIRD, and it is a cool lure that goes with the story behind the blue nose cod.
Well, that's it, exactly right. And look, I can keep it. but that's not going to make no money for future species, is it?
That's
So-
right, and that's right. And a lot of people don't realise when it comes to sort of like stocking and all that, is we can actually only get government subsidy for 2 species, which is yellow belly and Murray cod. Any other species, we've literally got to pay for it. So, which is a lot of people didn't realise that, and they say, "Oh, you should get this species in the river. You should get that." Man, they only support the buy or the 1 for 2 and the 2. Sorry, the 2 for 1 and the 1 for 1 from the government is only for 2 species, which is yellow belly and Murray cod. So if we want to put silver perch in or eeltail catfish or blue nose cod, we're lucky because that's under the endangered species and that'll be done through DPI. But other species, you've actually got to raise your own money for it to get them put in.
Isn't the eeltail catfish under the endangered list now?
Certainly is. There's 2 species of eeltail catfish and all that, and one of them is in the endangered species lot. And it's like we've got one stocking point here in Bathurst, which is Chifley Dam. We can actually legally put eeltail catfish in there, but it's getting that political will and getting people to sort of push behind it and all that. So, and Chifley Dam is a very hard dam to deal with because it is during summertime. It has a high activity of of power boats and water skiing and the like, and it is quite a narrow dam. But our focus is kind of on the waterways themselves and the upper reaches of the dam, like the Campbell's River and the like. So mate, we all got to dig in and have a crack at it and and make it better. Like that's what it's about. It's about making it better for the future and all that. So, but we'll keep chipping away.
That's it.
You're talking about the future fishing and all that, and there's one thing that you've done that a lot of people who aspire to what you've done, which is start a fishing tackle shop at home, call it the Fishing Shed, and then all of a sudden you've launched into the ewer door from there for the variety bash, and next thing you've gone great guns with the Fishing Shed Bathurst is you've moved out of the home and into a shop, which is a lot of people's dream. And not even 12 months you've gone and you've now moved across into Cowra as well. Yep.
It has been one of those dreams. Like everyone says, oh geez, I'd love to own a tackle shop and all that. So, mate, tackle shop is. To me, like I explain to people when they say, "What do you get out of it?" And I said, "I get to speak to real people. We sort real world issues. What colour braid? What colour lure? What lure's working? So like what's working around. You can have that conversation that is completely irrelevant to the problems of the world, and that's what I like about us. Like we've really got that atmosphere where you can come in, sit down on a chair, and have a chat. And it's not about just like you say complete anglers and BCF and anacondas and all that. So, which are good box style, lure shops and all that. But it's kind of in, pay, out, and that's it. Like we encourage people to sit down and have a chat. And, we get a lot of ex-veterans that come in and just sit down and have a chat. We get a lot of people that are just they come in to see us before something opens and, mate, I'll have a coffee with them. And then we get people that come in just to see the fish. Because they're an endangered species. But yeah, so about eight years ago, I started selling kayaks from kayaks to fish, and which are a good, affordable, sturdy range of kayaks. I've bloody heaps of them.
I love them.
And mate, I've sold heaps. I think the original contract was to sell 50 in 12 months, and you keep your contract. I think I sold about 550 in about 6 months. So it was really popular. COVID was a good thing.
I don't have that contract with them. I've got them on my on my website. But I'm upgrading again to another pedal kayak very shortly from Kayaks to Fish because they are that great that the one that I've got now I've pretty much worn out from using it all the time.
They're exactly. But that's where it all started. And it actually started, I was working in a tackle shop and in Bathurst here, just part-time. And I could see how much the shops were paying for lures, and I could see how much the customers were paying, and that's kind of what really galvanised me to have a crack. Like, believe me, we sell jackal lures, but we don't sell them for the price that other companies sell them for. And we don't make any bones about it. We looked at gear overseas and what was coming out of China 6-7 years ago was absolute garbage. What comes out of China now is where probably 70% of the world's lures come from. Like you look at the town like Weihai. Weihai is where 80% of the world's fishing rods come from, and that includes Daiwa, Shimano, and all that. So
75% of lures are coming from China.
100%. Oh, absolutely 100%. And they're very good replicators. So, and that's the thing about it. And it's not about, support this, support this, support. Oh, you've got to support the big names. The big names have got to support the consumer, and this is the thing. Like we always talk about support local, 100%. But the locals have to support the consumer. So if I can sell a Jackal TN60 for $25 when everyone else is selling them for $30, I'll do that. And that's what we like.
Well, talking about things coming out of China, I have a Daiwa lure that's still in the box that has Japanese writing on the box, but it says "Made in China" underneath all that.
Yeah. 100%. Well, you look at TT now. TT is extremely good quality stuff. There's nothing. Tackle Tactics is a well-branded product. All made in China. So made in China under license and all that. And a lot of the bigger name lure companies actually do come out of Asia, and that's all there is to it. Like Xeric come through Singapore, which is all made in China. Wilson's Tackle will now buy direct from the factories in China to give people a bit of a deal. Who would have thought that'd be a great idea? And and that's kind of where it has. It comes down to fishing can be bloody expensive. And when you look at the cost of living and currently what we have, we don't know which way the rates are going to go, up, down, left, right, whatever. Who's running the country, who's not running the country, who's going to shoot a missile of one country to another. When it comes to saving money, the first thing that goes are your hobbies. Yeah. So, and our best hobby is fishing. It's fishing and camping and getting out and having a bit of time away from technology. And so that's why we started that, the motto, making fishing affordable. And I do know there's a big fishing shop in Sydney that's actually really adopted that model really well and did the same thing. They went overseas, found where all the stuff's made and got it rebranded and added their own twist to it. And, and that's what, fishers look for. Like, we sell some rods that have got no brands on it, no names on it, but they're better than anything, than the bigger name stuff.
Well,
that's how I got into it, because I'm paying shitloads of money for all this gear. I mean, $17, $18 a lure, and I'm going, why am I doing this? Because I'm locked on a site on the internet, and I could get the exact same lures. I just had to paint them myself. And I thought, well, for $5, I can get a little minnow and paint it myself, and I can get 10 of them for $5.
That's right. See, we've got the Assassin Vibe, which Kayaks to Fish actually carries as a lure in their tackle brand, and they're a TN60 side by side, any day, every day. That's what they look. That's what they are. And except we decide what colours they are. So our biggest selling colour is a Murray cod pattern, which no one else has. No one else actually has Murray cod pattern. And we got this Murray cod pattern. Young fella went down under the Denison Bridge, landed a 69 centimetre cod. Boom. Biggest selling lure we've got. It's proofs in the pudding and all that. And the lure cost $10. Same profile, same everything. Cost $10. So, and that and even when we moved from here, like we operated for here in the house here for 3 years, and then we took that step into commercial into commercial premises. We didn't change our prices by $1. We didn't change them. We just had the same price. And we've got overheads too. I understand, big shops like I said, Complete Angler and BCF and all that, they got overheads, but so have I. But I don't need to, hammer fishers. It's like, make it affordable.
Well,
make fishing affordable. So.
That's exactly why I got into it. Look, my lures, they're not the prettiest lures in the world, but they work.
Bloody oath, they work. Bloody oath.
That's all they're going to do.
I've seen your lures, mate. And I'd say what we are starting to see in Australia is the rise of the little cottage lure industry. and people, young kids making soft plastics and the like, and they're making them better than the big names. And people customising blanks like yourself you look at them and you just go, oh, absolutely outstanding stuff. And like Aaron with spinnerbaits and all that. So like you look in our shop, apart from TT, every other lure maker on our spinnerbait boards all from Australia. So, they're great stuff.
I've done the same with spinnerbaits. I've made my own.
Yeah.
And they work.
Yep.
But they're not fancy like others, but they work.
That's right.
Well, talking about Dunks lures, I have a limited edition Dunks lure that will never see the light of day, see the water. We call them the Lightning. This is a Dunks lure. You look at that and you can almost pass that off as a, what do you call them? I'm going blank on the brands now, but
like a diver double clutch or something like that. So.
Not quite the double clutch, but one of the other freshwater type brand lures that you've got out there. There's so many different brands, I just can't think of them at the moment. But you look at that and you go, that's just a cracker lure. The orange underneath is just, if that doesn't scream at flaties or salmon or whatever, even a bass, there's something wrong. It's just so good. I've even got some of your Dunks' earlier stuff out in my own personal collection that I am dying to, once I can get back on my 2 feet properly, to get it out there and give them a crack, because I did a pull test with one, and within about 2-3 winds, being on the depth of the beneath of the bib on the deep dive, it just went straight down the bottom of the pool within about 3 or 4 winds. And it's like, this is definitely a flathead lure. This is get down deep. This is your cod. A couple of bigger hooks on it, your cod are going to smash this down deep because of how quick it goes down, and the action and the way it just slowly came up and then just back down was just like those really, like the good brands, like the stump jumper brands, how when you let that loose up and it comes back up and it does exactly the same.
Suspended, floating in suspended lures. Like, and this is the thing. Like, we've come across a few brands in our time, like Mrs. Shed and myself. We go through a heap of brands, a heap of companies to look at, and we found where certain factories that sell certain stock and all that, like without name dropping and all that. But we can't sell you this product because it's already sold under license to this other brand and all that. But we can offer you this, which is nearly the same. So it's a shop around, guys. Shop around.
Well,
so,
you've seen our level.
She's doing her own lures, isn't she?
Yeah. She's doing the Mrs. Fishing Shed range. She's looked at she's taken a lot. When I started on board, you look for certain colours and you look for certain profiles. And some of the profiles she'll show me, and I go, yep, I had them X many years ago. They work great. She bags them up herself. She puts her own logo on them, and $1 from the sale of each of those lures goes to variety. So the Mrs. Fishing Shed range of plastics, the plastics that we get through one of our suppliers is equal to Z-Man Slim Swims. So except they're only $5 a packet, and $1 from that goes to variety.
Well, as you know, Lovell Rigs is well known, through most people, as a rig builder. So tying rigs, we've also got to get there and shop around for hooks and things like that. We get our sinkers local from a Savage Tackle up who we're in Moonton now in South Australia. So we get our sinkers through them. So they're all sourced. All our hooks and beads all come from China, way high and that. But they're actually going from we're going through Uvella now for our hooks because we can get a better quality for the same price. And also they're highly recommended by the fishers in the northern Queensland for strength. So if the fishers up there are going to say, do you use Uvella because we want them? Well, I'm going to get them for down here as well. So it doesn't matter where.
Yeah.
The other thing we're doing is we're pushing our underground tackle range, which is mainly our lures. And I don't know how well you can see that, but that's just that one there. And I've got the redfin as well. We've also got a carp and a mullet version as well.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm actually going to be sending you a video on these shortly.
Cool. Thanks, man.
Coley. We haven't got a price on these yet, They're about a 28 gram, I think, weight lure.
Yep.
But though we're doing them along with our own chatterbaits, because chatterbait is actually a trademark term through Z-Man or Term Tackle. So
Certainly is.
We're calling ours the clatterbait, and I'll show you again. This one here is what we're looking at for your little yellow bellies and bass and all that. So it's only a small version. We import the main bodies of it ourselves. At the moment, we're using a Hobie soft baits plastic on this just to get there and test to see what's going to work best. And Morris, mate, I reckon he makes some really good things, in the plastics. I may even stay with using Morris for the plastics. I have toyed around making my own, but with how good Morris is, I'll probably keep more accustomed to the stuff from Morris because he just seems to have that finesse that I like with his plastics.
Yeah, for sure.
And the same is, I'm not looking at selling these at maximum price. Right? It is make fishing affordable, make fishing accessible to everybody, not just those who've got the $50 notes in their pocket, but the people who've got the $5 notes in their pocket need it too.
Yep.
So working with making rigs, I've tried to get there and build that as cheaply as possible to customize to everybody's needs. Like I approached you about a year or so ago because I had a customer on the website from your area who brought soft plastic corn.
Yep.
So I thought, hey, if you're buying from me, buy it from Coley.
Yeah. Yep. No, and mate, who would have thought soft plastic corn works?
Yeah. So, but it's amazing where...
It really works.
Mate, I love it. Mate, carp love it, mate. We're teaching kids how to make hair rigs and everything up here, mate. So we're getting into proper carp fishing, mate.
So when you want more, man, Danny's got another load in. I think she's selling them under her Outfox brand now, not under the Lovell Rigs brand. So she's got another, I think, 2,000 pieces in.
Oh, nice.
So she's got... we're also doing trying to work out doing some scented versions of it, but we just got to get our containers and mixers right for that.
Yep. Once you get that right, so the only thing as we know with carp, when they're spawning, doesn't matter what you put in front of them. They're worse than trout. So when the only thing you can stop them with is bloody arrow, so that's about it. So we can in New South Wales anyway. So
we've caught carp on carp, strip bait carp.
Oh yeah. It's a great bait. Like I did an article in the Western Herald, which is a newspaper from far west New South Wales, and they talk about the carp virus and the like, and the fact that something has to be done about it in the Western rivers. And before we sort of release a pathogen that'll sort of like thin the numbers out, and it will, like, don't get me wrong, it will cut the carp population by half, but the cleanup's going to be absolutely and utterly horrendous. And I think that's where the sticking point is. But in the meantime, we have got a protein source, a fertilizer source, an exporting source. Just needs a bit of thoroughness and tenacity, instead of procrastinating and do something with them. So, they're not. People say they're the most eaten fish in the world. They're not the most eaten fish in the world, but they're in the top 10. Like tuna's the most eaten fish in the world, David. But European carp, which is what ours are, literally they are a protein source. They're a pet food source, and for bait fishing, for crab pots and everything, mate, people want them. People want them. And when you see some of the local shops around, Victoria and South Australia, and even in New South Wales, mate, $10.99 a kilo. We got rivers of gold.
Well,
crikey.
At the moment on this podcast, 2 out of 3 people have caught carp. We've got one person up there in the top corner there who's never caught a carp.
Thanks. You're not even trying, mate. You're not even trying.
Mate,
I have tried. I'll tell a fib, right? I did hook one. I made a lure, a dragonfly lure, and I chucked it out in front of. But the bank was so steep, you couldn't get down there to control the fish. So what had happened was this thing took off like a rocket, and I couldn't pull it up. Anyway, I tightened the drag, and as I tightened the drag, it pulled the hook out of the fish's mouth. So I missed out on it. So
likely story, Dunks, likely story, brother.
I know. It does sound corny, but it's true.
Pardon the pun. Love the corny. So, but it's actually, but in saying that, around this part of the world, the Macquarie River, it's actually, people say there's carp everywhere. Like, nah. But we have high velocity cold water, which is not preferred by carp. Out west we give them slow moving warm water, and they breed like rabbits. But carp, mate, very underrated fish. They've got a stigma to them, which unfortunately that's just stuck because that just has. I've caught them, I've eaten them, I've sports fished them. The only thing I haven't done is caught them on fly. They are very, very popular to catch on fly, and as a fly fisher, they're definitely. A lot of people were umming and ahhing, sticking their nose up to it until they gave it a crack, and then they were into it. They are good fun, but we've got a simple thing with it, is that we've got this massive protein source in our rivers, and dropping a pathogen in there to eradicate it and leave a very, very nasty cleanup. Jesus, guys, before we do that, let's look at some better options. Anyway, that's good luck. If they've spent $24 million on the carp control plan and they want another $15 million, like, geez, give me half of that, and we'll make an industry out of it and all that. So, Charlie Carp's on one of them, but carp's a national problem. Well, South Australia, Victoria, New South Wales, and luckily not Queensland yet. You can get them close, but we don't want tilapia either.
No.
But yet we've got a fertiliser source. We could make massive amounts of fertiliser and say to all the councils, this is the fertiliser you're using. But the problem we got there is that the lobbyists from these big companies hang out in Parliament House all the time. So that's another issue, that we found out when we did that water management course and all that. So, but mate, there's a protein source, there's an exporting source, there's a pet food source, it's there. We just got to go get it. And the stigma to it is that I've eaten carp. It's fish. It's just fish. So, a little bit more preparation. Would I fill an esky full of them? No. But if you needed to, it's straight. Like, you wouldn't fill an esky full of them, but if you had to, you could eat them. So, and turning them into a liquid fertiliser, we do a donation of $5 and we'll give you a 200 ml bottle of liquid fertiliser. You only got to put 20 mils in 2 litres of water, put them on your veggies once a week, and mate, you'll have the best veggies in the world. It's a simple thing. It's a great, and here we were talking about urea, like the government's going, oh, farmers have got no urea. We got rivers of urea. They just got to go get it. So,
if we move back to the fishing shed, right, one thing I've noticed is that you get there and you've built a really good little community, or actually it's even growing bigger because of your live streams and that. How do you find that that's actually helped your availability to get your message out there, not with just your tackle, but with the blue nose carp, with the variety bash on those Friday nights?
I think it's just the use of social media. Like, social media these days is very, very important and all that. So, like Facebook is kind of where we started. YouTube is still a very vital thing as well. TikTok and others and Instagram are good ways to get it out there as well. And I think the message is just grown. Like, we started, like I said, in November 2019 we started. And now, so we're, it's about 7 years down the track type thing. And we're about to, I'd say in the next week or so, we'll have 21,000 followers, which for us is mind-blowing. Like there are, it's 7 o'clock in the morning, Belinda and I are up and we're onto it. We're looking for this content, doing this, doing that. On my so-called days off, I'm out chasing content, and then I'm at the shop. I'm not afraid to be in front of the camera and have a chat. And I used to do public speaking, and I used to be an instructor with my previous job. And so standing in front of your peers is something I can do. And I think the shop principle has always been, been simple as, which is say good day to the customer when they walk through the door. You just got to say good day. G'day, how can I help you? And then they put a face to the name and the like. And that's what we're quite approachable and all that. Unfortunately, I did have to change my phone number because my phone was running red hot till all hours of the night. So got a separate phone number and all that now. But I think the live stream was just showing people what's available, and people could buy then and there. And I think one of our biggest shows was probably about 60 odd followers and all that. So, and that was 60 people that were prepared to give up an hour of their time to listen to what we had to say. And some days we'll go through, there'll be 20, there'll be 40, there'll be 50, there'll be 30, there'll be up to 50 again. And then there'll be people that'll walk in the shop and say, oh, I've been following you for a few years now, and we get that. And I was up at Katoomba coming back from Sydney, and this, and the Ranger that I have has got our logo on it. And this bloke pulls up beside me and he goes, are you Coley from the Fishing Shed? And yes, I am. What have I done? And he said, mate, I've been following you guys for years. It's great what you do. We're putting in our Gone Fishing Day grants for this year. And it's a simple thing. Come buy a tub of worms. Here you go, kids. There's a fishing rod. Go fish. So, we'll put prizes up for the biggest carp, smallest carp and stuff like that. So, and get out and have a crack. But I think a lot of the big name companies have lost that. So that human approach and all that. So, is it what you see is what you get? And, people come into the shop and a lot of people comment, they say, I remember when you were at such and such. I think my smallest shop that I did was when I had it in my mother's garden shed. And I remember sitting out at Perthville there, and we were still selling kayaks, still selling lures and all that. And, it was a hard slog. And I remember having to go into the 4-wheel drive zone to get a little gas heater because it was bloody cold. And now, I turn up to work and, in a carpeted place with all our native fish and, beautiful, products hanging off the walls and stuff like that. And, like with you guys, myself and the Lazy Acca do a podcast and, and it's a good, you're right, it is a good community. Like people come in to have a coffee, they come in to have a chat, and I think we've lost that customer service. I remember as a kid working at Coles, it was COB, customers are our business. That was the big thing they pushed. And, people come into the shop and they'll look for a certain item and I'll be straight with them. I had this couple come in, they said, we've got the grandkids coming up. We want to get a rod and reel for them, we want to buy from you. And I'll be blunt with them. I say, look, go to Kmart and spend $30 on a Jarvis Walker focus rod. They'll get just as much use out of it. I said, I can sell you an $80 rod reel combo and all that, but if the kids are only going to come up and they're only like 10 and 11 years old, just get them a Jarvis Walker focus rod and go from there. Like other shops probably would have been pushing, oh yeah, you need a Miller rod for that. So,
yeah,
but,
that's right.
we're just, we don't bullshit to them. So, we tell them straight,
Well, and your Jarvis Walker rod, like you said, I brought a Jarvis Walker Redbone beach rod back when I was 19. I still have that thing that goes on regular trips with me.
Oh, mate, but you look at the Jarvis Walker Black Queen, they're bloody classic rod and all that. So, I was out on the Barwon River recently. You would have seen some of the videos, mate. That's all a Jarvis Walker focus rod. You skull dragging carp in, mate, but a couple of good yellers in there as well. But exactly, like you don't need, the big name logos to go fishing. Like if you're just having an average fishing day, and I only use a focus rod when I'm actually just bait fishing from the bank. Like if I'm not going anywhere, I'll just whip that thing out and give it a flick. Like I've got the other, I've got the TD Souls and I've got the 13 Concepts. I've got all that stuff, but the one I enjoy the most is just a good old bait fishing with a Jarvis Walker rod on the riverbank. You can't beat it. So absolutely outstanding.
I've got the Blue Romance and the 1 to 3 kilo I like to use every now and then for throwing lures. But if I'm in the kayak or I'm bait fishing off the bank, I can guarantee you that one of the two rods I've got is my Lovell Sharp rod. My 1.6 in the kayak and my 1.8. Yep. Oh, sorry, 2.1 from the bank. I think you guys have got a couple, or you don't have many more?
Yeah.
Or?
We've actually they're almost like in a kayak. They're perfect. The 1.6, like as a kayak fisher myself, to me, I didn't like anything over 6 foot, especially when you go into the mangroves and stuff like that. But I think probably 6.6 pulls me up and all that. But those little 1.6 rods, they're absolutely mint for bloody for kayak fishing and all that. So you can't beat it, and you pay what $50-$60 for it, and it won't let you down.
No.
Simple as that. So but if it makes you feel better, I got a Daiwa sticker and put that on it, and it'll do the same job. So, and that's the thing, like you look at Albie rods, people, it's Albie, they're only ocean rods. Yep. If you want a bait fishing rod, I'd have nothing but one of theirs, because they are reliable, they are dependable, and all that. So,
Walker Intruder beach rod I found today, I should have bought.
Yeah, mate. It's funny at Cowra, our biggest selling rods in Cowra are Jarvis Walker ones. So, and we've got a Kuma, TT, all that type of stuff, Tomahawk rods and all that over there. Our biggest selling rods in Cowra are Jarvis Walker rods because it's the mums and dad fishers that just want a rod to go fishing with. Yeah. They want a tub of worms, packet of hooks, packet of sinkers, packet of swivels, and give them a tackle tray for it, and away they go with a Jarvis Walker $50 combo rod, and it catches everything they need them to catch. So it's only us people that try and sell the big name stuff that say you've got to have this. And I remember doing a podcast with Steve Starling, and he said the same thing. He said, he's made his money out of fishing, as we all know. He's been sponsored by everyone, but it's what you're happy doing with, and that's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
So if you're only going to fish once or twice a year, you don't need the best.
I'm pretty sure there was an episode him and Rex Hunt were talking about Jarvis Walker gear.
Yep.
I remember, I think it was one of the first shows I ever watched. And I thought, Jarvis Walker? Really? And, a lot of people swear by Jarvis Walker. I mean...
Mate, right, well, put it this way, Jarvis Walker have the range, and see, people just assume Jarvis Walker because they see him at Anaconda and Complete Angler and BCF and all those Tackle World and all those places that have got them. But Jarvis Walker actually have a range of gear called Rovex. And I was going through the Rovex catalogue and I was going, that's a reasonable price. That was the wholesale price. Then I can check the retail price. It's dear as poison. But it's Jarvis Walker, like one of their biggest brands, one of the best things Jarvis Walker did, especially for, small suppliers like us and all that, was to get into bait science. Like bait science combos and stuff like that is equal to anything on the market.
Well, Danny has some Jarvis Walker spin fisher combos that she picked up that somebody had just thrown on the curbside for hard rubbish. And when she goes carp fishing, or in the boat, in the kayak, what do you think she's grabbing? She's not grabbing her Shimano stuff. She's grabbing these because she just loves how they feel. Exactly.
Well, see, when I bait fish, I have Jarvis Walker rod. So that's all I use is Jarvis Walker. I'm bait fishing from the bank, and it's just a spin combo, cost me bugger all to use. And I have caned the guts out of that thing. Still goes, but it's perfect for bait fishing. You can lob it. It's got plenty of flex in it. And it's still the factory line on it. It's still the factory bloody mono line for it. And instead of Jarvis Walker hooks, and away you go.
Yeah, they don't make things like they used to these days.
Oh no. Well, see, we've started stocking Alvey gear, and a lot of people didn't realise Alvey make bait casters and spin reels, and they're mint, absolutely bloody brilliant. And we've sold quite a few of them. Everyone associates Alvey with sidecars. I think. Going back in my younger days, my first ever fish was landed on a cedarwood Alvey reel on a 5-foot glass rod, because that's what you had in Queensland, and it was a pilchard on a gang hook, and I got 2 flatheads back to back. That was kind of my memory, but that was a cedarwood Alvey, and Alvey like all their sidecar reels are made in Australia, but their spin reel and baitcasters are made overseas, and mate, there's 3 parts to it. You take those parts off, you clean it, grease it, put those 3 parts back on. That's your service for 25 years.
Well,
that's it.
I got an Alvey sidecast when I was 16. I'm still using it today.
Exactly. And you'll be using it. You'll be using it for another 20 years.
Yeah.
They're just reliable gear. 1-to-1 ratio. You can't beat it.
I picked up a Alvey center pin snapper reel, and I actually caught a 12 kilo snapper on this thing. There's no drag on it. It's called a knuckle buster for a reason, and I found out.
It's a 1-for-1 ratio, mate. It's you against the fish.
Yeah. I managed to get it, but I love them. I've seen Alveys anywhere at a second-hand shop. I pick it up and I bring it home.
Oh, a lot of people don't realise that they're sitting there on a piece of Australian history. Like Alvey. Unfortunately, when Alvey had a bit of a demise and all that, and bought out by another company, was solely because of how good their gear is. You only need to buy them once.
Well,
so,
if you have
that was kind of their downfall.
If you have a look over the shoulder here, you can vaguely just see two and a Alvey box from my collections that I picked up from around the place.
Yep.
And I've got more that I want to pick up.
Yeah. Mate, I've got one up in my wall and at behind the point of sale at the shop there. It's actually an Alvey. They're now called a dolphin reel, but back then when I bought it was called a kayak, a 45K, and it's on a 5-foot bait rod and 2-piece glass rod, and mate, it was designed just for a kayak and all that. So just turn it, let it go, turn it back, bounce off the bottom with some bait, boom, and up you go, and it won't break, it will not break and won't lead you down. So it's just. And there, a lot of those things, a lot of kids, like beach fishing for a lot of kids, they don't do, so it's not something they do. But, mate, they were the days, mate. Spin reels were something that only rich people had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, in line with the community side of things, you do a couple of interesting fishing trips through the fishing shed. One's Karumba, and I also believe you also do Nambucca Heads. I don't know if you still do Nambucca.
Well, we used to do Nambucca. We did it for years, and everyone kind of wanted a bit of a change. So they were our social fish. So we're now doing ones down at Lake Conjola now. So in September and all that, which is basically just a weekend away fishing. Like nothing serious. It costs you $50. That includes a barbecue dinner on Saturday night, and we've got a few gongs for biggest flathead and stuff like that, and bycatch, and it's basically just come down and have a fish. And we all have a laugh and a joke. Like we do a serious briefing. Yep, don't do anything stupid on the water. Have a great day. Like it's we give it all the tones of a major fishing competition, but at the end of the day, the briefing's quite simple. Here's a good suggestion. Make sure you get your life jacket. Do this. If you got any issues, give us a call on the phone. Give us a call on the radio, and we'll go from there. So at Nambucca, it was always quite simple. There are sharks about. Simple story. And I think the last year up there was quite a few sharks about. So
those bully sharks are starting.
Bull sharks, they come in around those oyster leases and get amongst the brim and stuff like that. But yeah, so we do. So we'll definitely go back to Nambucca and all that, but we're going to have a few years down in the South Coast. Usually we do 2 or 3 seasons at one location, then we'll go to another location and go from there. But yeah, Karumba's very good, and we're looking at Vanuatu next year as well. So for customers and all that, and we give you a what's that?
Fiji. The guys.
Fiji. Oh, look, I've heard Fiji. I've heard Fiji very, very good. But my first country I ever visited was Vanuatu, so I'll give that a crack.
I've been to Fiji and I got myself my tuna. Danny cooked onto something, got sharked at the boat. The Coral Coast charters there, mate, those guys did a cracking job for us. Got us on some fish. They did a really good. So if you're ever over, decide to do that, because I've actually thought about maybe myself, in conjunction with another guy who's actually done these before, look at doing a Fiji trip.
You'd be mad not to give it a go, mate. Give it a go. You'll never know unless you give it a go.
So I may be talking to you in a year or so about the possibility of doing this.
Yeah. It's like Karumba for us is a great thing. Like, the barra hellyfish, the fishing for barra, fishing for mackerel and all that. And Karumba's a great part of the world and all that. So, and it's a great experience. The whole travelling bit and stuff like that. But then I was thinking, geez, let's step it up. We've done Currumbin for about 3 or 4 years now and all that. And I've been to Vanuatu and I just know how beautiful that place is and all that. So, and I went to Havana Bay as well, it was the biggest naval base in World War II outside of Pearl Harbor. So it's a very deep, deep waterway. And then you see some of the fish they catch up there and you speak to some of the locals that, what do you do for downtime? Oh, we just go hand lining for tuna. It's like, wow, it's just a different lifestyle. And the place we're looking at the Fish and Trees Retreat is it's 15-metre walk to the boat. You get up from your bungalow, go have breakfast, then walk 15 metres to the boat. It's and it's one of those things you need a passport and all that, but give it a go, mate. Life's for living.
It sounds like I've got to get there and put some pennies away for Vanuatu, man.
Mate, I'll be straight. It is cheaper to fish in Vanuatu than it is for us to take guys to Queensland to fish for barra.
Well, when I was over in Fiji, I picked up a venom popper, right? Which is a Wilson. I believe Wilson do them.
Yep.
Right. It cost Fijian nearly $60 for this lure, Fijian.
Yep.
Considering the average Fijian wage is something like $4.50 an hour. That's $4.50 Australian an hour. And you look at that and you go, wow, how you talk about wanting to make fishing affordable.
Oh,
exactly. And you go over to a place like that and you're going, okay, it's going to cost me, like I said, $60 Fijian for this lure. Then you get there and you do the conversion rate and you're paying bugger all.
Yep. Yeah, that's again, we've got I got actually from Weehai, I got a popper sent to us unhooked, and it was a timber popper and all that, and it was equal to anything on the market. When you look at it, it was just equal to anything on the market. And I don't care what anyone says. So we put a set of mustad singles on it, sent it up to Currumbin, and Ben took it out on one of the family days with Kerry D, him and Gemma and Lane, and he sends me a photo of just a metre queenie with a popper hanging out of its mouth. And you just go, there you go. You can write whatever logo you want on it, but it costs to have it delivered to Australia. I think it cost me about $16 or something like that. So, and it was a timber lure, and all we did was put the hooks on it. So, and added the split rings and stuff like that. We've got to, fishing is a tough gig and all that, and it takes a lot to, to get your name out there type thing. But we started with rollfish rods and tomahawk rods, and we still sell a heap of those. But we also sell a Kuma TT, and now we just started getting bone fishing travel rods and stuff like that. And so we've got really high end stuff and stuff that's affordable that does not break. And that's what we like about it. And and shops have got to offer that too. So but I've taken some gear up to Currumbin and absolutely slayed it up there, and people don't even know the name of the brand. So that's another good thing that I find with what we do is trialing different things and different lure makers. Timber lure makers are rare and hard to find, and we've just recently found one in Victoria I told him he's coming up to Currumbin to fish for mackerel, and I told him about poppers, and he showed me some of the skirts he's made for for marlin fishing and stuff like that, just for fun. I sent him a photo of a popper, and about 3 days later he sends me this handcrafted popper that he's made. So with the weight and the centre wire through it and stuff like that. And I'm, all right, mate, we'll hook it up and we'll give it a go up there. So absolutely outstanding stuff.
I'd like to see you use some of Dunk's lures up there, actually. I'd love to see how they go.
I tell you one thing, some of Dunk's lures I've actually seen and go, gee, Barra would climb all over that. So and that's the thing. See, this trip, we don't go up estuaries or anything. We don't go up any creeks. We're out the front chasing schoolie mackerel, queenies, blue salmon and the like. And then we head out to the ferns and out to the mackerel fields and all that. So, but yeah, some of Dunk's lures and all that. So absolutely would slay it in the creeks and all that. So like every time I go on the boat, there's always the stock rods that everyone uses, but there's always a couple of spin and bait casters up there as well. And Ben and I usually give them a flick and have a crack at that. And it sort of kind of keeps it interesting. Like, I love it. Get one of those, live mullets. You see a big bust up and just throw it straight through the guts of it and just slow retrieve it, and then hang on.
Yeah,
So
no,
what you got to do?
I made a spinnerbait for salt water.
Ooh, yeah, okay.
It's
There's no
a-
reason why a spinnerbait won't work on the troll for big
No.
pelagics.
No, definitely not, because like this thing, I took it out to Ralston last time I was out there, and I threw it in, and I didn't expect it to swim as good as what it did, but the blade actually worked. So and the vibration was so good, you can see the end of the rod vibrating.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I know it's going to work. I just haven't used it in the salt water yet, but I might give it a crack when I get back from Lightning Ridge. So
Yeah.
see if
You'll never know. You'll never know unless you have a go, mate.
We're actually
Well, that's
doing a clatterbait in pink, just the pink through. I'm not sure if we're doing it through our underground brand or Danny's Outfox brand, and she wants to aim that along at Flathead.
Oh, they would climb all over it. So climb all over it.
So there's
you showed me that one before, mate. Can you imagine one of that in hot, vibrant pink?
Yeah, these ones I don't have Danny's available to me at the moment, but that one there, I've got a couple of different colours in that. And so I'm going to do up a little video of them and show you what I've got in them. But yeah, Danny's got some really nice, beautiful pink that would just absolutely I reckon, Fladdy's Taylor would just smash them.
Well, it was also too, mate, trout, especially up at Oberon, mate. Trout are a major, major thing when it comes to pink. So, and like Hoppy's, we get Hoppy's lures from Bendigo and all that, and he's always got some iridescent pinks and stuff like that, and they sell first. So it's solely because trout at Oberon will climb on pink.
I always thought trout were more to the chartreuse colours and the darker purple colour.
Look, it probably maybe in the rivers, but at Oberon, every dam has its little unique little incrustacities. There's their own little herks and quirks and all that. But Oberon Dam is pink.
Right.
Nice. Actually, speaking of pink, I just made a cod lure with a pink curl tail, and when I was out at Tamworth last weekend, I threw it out for a spin, and it worked well. Nothing was biting, of course, but the action, the spin action, I thought it might have made it too heavy for it to work properly, but when I seen it swimming through the water, I can't see why it wouldn't catch a cod.
There you go. There you go.
Would you believe, guys, this has been fun. We've been we hit the hour and 30-minute mark already on this.
Sorry, I've been talking too much.
Yeah, having a ball. I love getting together.
I remember 2 years ago when I first met you, Wayne. I came into the shop. I had to find an excuse to come into the shop. What did I come in for?
It's books.
I bought something off you.
Yeah, I think it was hooks. Hooks and lures. Yeah.
Yeah, it was something. But anyway, I had to give the excuse to the missus. I've got to go and buy this off Wayne because I need it. It was an excuse to come in to meet you. All right. Anyway, last year I bought your bait runner.
Yes.
That you were saying, that little bait runner.
Yeah, the little Dyna drag. Yeah.
Yeah. I took that out to Ralston the very next day.
Yep.
Mate, and I hooked this cod. Mate, it took off like a rocket.
Yep.
Anyway, I thought I've got to get it out of out of it because it was diving down into the weeds, and I thought you have to get it. You had 6 pound line on it, I think it was. Yeah, 6 pound line. So I didn't have much line on it because it doesn't hold a lot of line.
No.
So I tried to pull it up, and I broke it off. But I mean, it handled it quite well. But this year, I was fishing, and I had a floating bait out, and I forgot how light the actual reel was. Anyway, next minute, it's taking off, and I thought, oh no, I had 6 pound line, and it was probably only about 120 meters of line on the tops. And I'm trying to pull this thing up, and I've gotten down to about 20 meters of line, maybe 25 meters of line left. I went, I'm going to get spilled. The next minute I stopped, and it turned, and it was coming back, and I had to wind it in. That was a 68 centimeter jute.
Yeah, mate,
It handled it quite well.
Exactly, mate. Akuma make great quality gear. There's no two ways about it. It's a shame. It just absolutely good stuff and all that. So with Akuma and all that, so they make good quality gear, and it's stuff that works. It just works. Yeah. Like, it's not the flashiest name, it's not the biggest name, blah blah blah. But geez, it's a good, reliable bit of kit.
I remember back in the day when Rex Hunt would get there and he'd have Akuma on TV. Right,
yep.
And then all of a sudden Shimano came in and whatever. So what it shows to me is if the company has the dollars for the advertising, that brand will get there and do better than the brand that was the current top of the line. You get the right person holding the right rod with the right amount of money in their pocket to say the right things, and you can get there and turn a stick off the ground with a couple of eyes tied to it to the most leading rod available.
Oh, it's 100, and that's what I say to people: shop around. So, like before we had a commercial premises, we only had two real brands, which was TA and Apache. They were the only two real brands we had. Why? Because out of the dozen or so reels that I trialled, they were the two that didn't break. And I gave it to some good fishers who flogged the guts out of it and started loading up with it. Like the Apache, he was a bass fisher here from Bathurst, and he used to go up the Coffs Harbour and all that, and he's he uses Stella and stuff like that. He come back from using one of these 1,000 size Apaches and bought 3 of them. So he says, mate, I'll never need another reel ever again. Because it doesn't matter. Like, you pay big darts for things, mate, and there's you want to be rough and ready with it. Like bass fishing, like for skinny water, you got to jump fences and get down in the creeks and stuff like that, and and with the flathead fishing and you need something that's durable, reliable, but then has got to be salt friendly and all that. And as I say to fishers, just shop around. Absolutely shop around.
I didn't pay a lot of money for that rod and reel, and
no.
It's one of the best rod and reels I've got,
mate. It is. But I'll put it this way: like I said, I was a big fan of Daiwa. I always had Daiwa TD soles and stuff like that. No two ways about it. But my main rods now on my kayak are Tomahawk rods because they're 6 foot, which means that they don't poke into mangroves, and I can cast the lure anywhere with it. Just a great, and it costs $60, $70.
Yep.
So I think they're about $85 now. But and we've sold over 600 units of them. They're a great rod.
I believe you should be using the Lovell Sharp rods. They're a lot better.
Well, mate, I think I've got a 2.1 in the shop.
Is that all you got?
That's it. That's all we got. So because people are looking at them and they're sort of like going, well, they're almost a jigging rod, and out this way it's very hard to convince people to buy a jigging rod and all that. So, but they work a treat. There's no two ways about it. They work a treat. So but. On top of all the Akuma and TT and bone fishing and temptress and all that other stuff, we're running out of room. I need a bigger shop. Need a bigger shop with boats.
Well, I was just going to say, I'm actually running low on those rods, and I was thinking, do I go and look for more, or do I just get there and try a different style? And that's another thing I was going to discuss with you at another time, another place, when you've got 5 minutes, you don't have people coming in that you're shaking up and down to take their money off when they walk in the door.
It's only the young kids, you've got to shake them up and give you money. It is like there's like literally like we've got some great jigging rods that we got from overseas that are that are just, you sit back and you look at it and you go, the quality is just absolutely there and extremely affordable. And that's the thing. That's the thing. And they come with a neoprene bag. Like out of the Akumas, it's only the Komodas that come with a bag. Or maybe the LRFs come with bags, and with TT, it's only the Blackadders that come with bags. But these things, everything comes with a bag. And affordable to that. All you got to do is look at some of the photos of Kenny Smith using a no-name brand rod that he's fallen in love with. Probably comes out of the same factory as some other big name brand.
He's bought this Shimano bait runner. I mean, Mickey Mouse. I mean, big dollars.
Yep.
And he's bought a Shimano rod to go with it. Now, more big dollars.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't know how to use it. So he didn't like it.
Mm-hmm.
So I swapped him for an old, the world's strongest rod.
Yep.
That I picked up off the side of the road. Right? Somebody chucked it out. And it's a great rod. I took it out and we were using it out there in the ocean and he liked it. So I matched it up with a Spinfisher 750.
Yep.
And I said, well, if you don't like that rod, I said, I'll swap you for this rod and end reel.
Yep.
And yeah, he loves it. I love the Shimano bait runner, because I've worked out how to use it.
Yep. one click for back drag, 2 clicks for front drag. Let the fish take it, and then when you're ready to go, clank and just crank it forward. So, hang on. So
I don't think you realised underneath was another switch where you turn it up.
No reverse.
That's right. No. Yep. This has got an actual winder on it that tightens your free spool.
Oh yeah. The drag at the back. The drag at the back controls the free spool. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Exactly. Like a lot of people look at it and they go, "What's that for?" And he said, "Well, crack it here. When the fish takes it, away it goes. It just free spools, right? Free spools.
That's right.
Then when you're ready, when you know that it's well and truly hooked, all you got to do is grab the rod, crank it half turn forward. Yeah, you're on.
Punch it in.
So, bloody oath.
Get the full drag.
And that was
damn right. All of a sudden, he swim around.
And as I said, the dunks, the old reel was actually designed in South Australia.
Yeah?
Yep, it's actually an Australian design reel that
Mate,
Shimano got their hands on and copyrighted it or trademarked it, but that was actually designed in South Australia.
Mate, those bait runners, like we've got the Kuma Corondo in a 5500 and 6500, and mate, those things are like trucks. Like we've got them on the KO rods and all that, so to take up to chase mackerel, and mate, they're just absolutely donkey stuff and all that. So, like let the mackerel take it, don't matter. Once you're ready, just pick it up, crank it forward, and bang, get into it.
Goes.
So they're good stuff.
So, so I bought a new one from Sharp Point Jigheads.
Yep.
Outstanding little rod.
Yep.
I mean, it's only a 3000 reel on I think it's 5.5 foot rod.
Yep.
And I cracked the flatty on it the other day, christened it. That was yesterday. Friday afternoon. I cracked a nice flatty on it. That was the first fish he's ever caught on it, and it was amazing. It was good.
How good's that? Can't beat it.
Okay.
Can't beat it for less than $200.
Yep.
Can't go wrong.
Okay.
Nah, for sure.
Talk about going wrong. I reckon if we keep going any longer, we're going to lose any listeners' attention at an hour and 40 odd minutes. So I think we'll probably
we'll pull it up.
Pull it up on that one there. So you've been listening to RG, that's me, Dunks, and Coley from the Fishing Shed.
That's me.
So we look forward to getting on to you and talking to you again later. Until then, get out, get amongst it, and we'll catch us next time.
Thanks, Wayne, for coming on the show.
Yeah,
Cheers, boys.
It's been a pleasure.
All right, legends, lines are in for the day. Sun's getting low, time to make the run back. From our tinny on the tide to yours, catch ya on the next episode of Terminal Banter.